Hello, beautiful people. My name's Deb, and I like to share about the human experience to help others gain confidence and insight into their human experience. A lot of these videos are often channeled of information that just comes in as it comes in. I've experimented with preparing previous scripts and subjects, and ultimately, I'm a channel of source energy and God, and that information wants to come through. So here we are. Click those like, comment, subscribe, join buttons, all those things. If that's what. Trying too hard. Trying too hard. Notice that I don't edit my videos, which is true. However, I will usually give myself sometimes 2 to 3 takes of scratching it and restarting again. And that's what that looks like. Um, I'm not going to scratch this one, I guess. That's the human experience. There's a behind the scenes for you. Truth. What is what is time? And what is quantum leaping? And what is growth? And what is manifestation? What is all of these things? And why is it different than just progressing in life? Why is it different than just progressing in life? It's different than just progressing in life because it has intention behind it. When you're manifesting, you are intentionally creating the life you want. You're not following what someone told you to do as a child. You're not following something that you fell into because of a marriage or a family situation. You're not following on a career path just because it's what you've known your whole life and you're afraid to start over. Or like there's no matter what you're going through, if you feel like you have no control, step one is taking control, doing things with intention, even if that's controlling your thoughts for the first 5 minutes of your day. When you wake up, when you start realizing you're conscious again, focus on your thoughts right there. What are you thinking about? And if you aren't thinking about anything, start there. I guarantee you'll see changes in your life. I'm going to take a drink for a moment, real fast. I've usually had more coffee by now, but it was really hot. So I guess I need to turn down the temperature on my kettle. We will talk about spiritual things and timelines and craziness and self development in a moment. However, I recently found mold in my coffee maker, and which is crazy. It's like, ugh. Anyways, so this is backup instant coffee for the moment while I research a different method of coffee that's probably just go with a Euro press. Those things are pretty cool. So being mindful. And how did I know this? Well, I noticed I was getting really sick with normal things and it didn't seem reasonable. So one day my brain clicked and I was like, oh, there's this one section of the coffee maker that probably, I mean, I was right. Like it's a nook and cranny. It doesn't, it's just not designed very well. It's not designed very well at all. And you would think all the heat from the coffee would do the thing, but I don't really throw my coffee grounds away immediately. I usually go off to work and then I throw them away the next morning when I put the new ones in. And there you go. So, this is important because it's part of self development. It's part of living intentionally, of being mindful of what your body is telling you. And my body was telling me something wasn't right. My body was telling me I'm making myself sick with something in my normal routine. And I found it. And I'm a couple days in. I mean, call it placebo effect if you want, but I am already feeling a lot better. And I also, well, I started taking the supplements necessary to fight like mold spores and things. It's more so parasites, all those things. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm just doing what I can with the minimal amount of resources that I can. And that's what intentional living is all about. I'm spacing out. There's fuzzies from this thing floating around, and my bangs are scratching my forehead. There's just all kinds of distractions. And this is part of the human experience of growing. So they say if you want to be a good talker, you pay attention to what are you fidgeting with that people are going to look at. Are you looking at the camera or are you looking elsewhere? I know you're not here for professionalism tips, but we are here for mindfulness tips. And that whole last 60 seconds is basically how you keep track of your thoughts when you're meditating. You catch that you're running off track. Sometimes you have to narrate to yourself that you got off track. And then you bring yourself back to track. So, coming back to quantum timelines, linear timelines, human progression, the thing that brought me to this, see if I can keep my train of thought here. I feel like, I was going to share. Okay, I did record a video the other day that I don't believe I shared. Maybe I did. I will have to look. It was a story of my mother and I having an argument. Okay, I had just left my second attempt at a family. So I had now had two children with two different dads, and I was currently living in my parents' basement with a 3-year-old. The other child lived with her dad. So, and we're in my parents' backyard. We're cutting down a tree that most of the trees still standing. We're cutting off the damage that happened from a storm that rolled through. Now, this tree is very special to me. This tree is an apricot tree. I love apricots. And it's a tree that I had planted around the age, I don't know, early teens, maybe 14, 15, I can't remember. But there was a point where I had planted it and I was going to take care of it. And my parents were very gracious to give me something to take care of. And so I got this tree to take care of. And then they let me get cats to take care of. And I was so excited about that. And then God gave me a baby to take care of. Mind you, I'm 15 years old. God gave me a baby to take care of. And so, yes, the story was about the tree and the argument that I could go into. But the ultimate thing was the way I quantum leaped in responsibility. It's like, oh, you can handle a plant. Actually, let's give you something live. No, let's give you a whole soul, something that really matters. Something that's not just going to get hit by a car and people say, oh, well, let's throw it in a shoebox. Whatever my spirit was doing in that moment, it said goodbye to the normal timeline of spending time in high school, spending time in college, going through whatever normal people go through within things. It was, God said, you're ready and you're ready now because we have plans for you and we got to jumpstart this. So that was my first quantum leap. And I've actually never framed it in those words before. This is new for me to remember and witness my memory as such an experience. Just a moment. Up until now, the moment of cutting down that tree, because to me, that tree was, I was so happy about the tree and I didn't get to take care of it because the moment I feel like I planted it one spring, and by the next spring, I was moved out because I was at this time, well, I was pregnant at 15. By the time I'd taken the test and moved forward, I was 16. So 16, pregnant, moved out of my parents' house, and I didn't get to take care of the tree. Now, at this time frame where we're cutting down the tree, I am on child number 2. I have already been married and divorced. And so let's see, that means 7 years. Wow. Excuse me. Oh, do you know what they mean when they say you're in a safe space to process your emotions? This is that safe space to process your emotions. And it was 11:11 when I started saying that. That tree represented a 7-year cycle. A 7-year cycle that I'm still processing. I was a great athlete and a great student, and people loved me. And getting pregnant at 15 years old is not ideal when you put all those together. There's a lot of shame, there's a lot of confusion. And yet, God always provided somehow. Okay, so back to. Oh, excuse me. I guess this is the downfall to doing things without editing, right? But this is the human experience. Here we are. Okay. I will finish processing that 7-year cycle later. I'm just trying to get to the story about this tree. So here I am, 7 years later. This tree mostly fell over in a storm, and we're cutting it off. Mind you, I'm in an emotional state. I have already gone through 2 families, and at this point there is someone that had came into my life and wanted to take me away from everything that I knew. I was going to move to Moab, Utah. It was 5 hours away from where I lived, and I was not going to be taking both children with me, only one child with me, and I was going to be leaving all my family. I had barely any savings. I was in the middle of filing bankruptcy, or saving money for bankruptcy. I think I was saving money for bankruptcy, living in my parents' basement. Like, how much more rock bottom could you be? And there was someone that I had met that I felt that I had manifested, because when I was in a bad situation, I spent so much time visualizing what it felt like to be treated right and to be loved and to have a man that provided and protected. And so very quickly that man showed up in my life, and I felt like that was a huge manifestation, and I was listening to my intuition to go to Moab. And I have had signs of Moab throughout my whole life, of synchronicities popping up. I'm really sorry that I can't get through this without tearing up. This is not what I was expecting for today's video, but we're going with it. And no one in my family appreciated my decision at the time. Now it's whatever, it's been 15 years. It took time, but they came around because they saw that my intuition was right. They saw that this time I wasn't making a bad choice. They saw that this time things were working out for me and I was really improving and doing better. And so that was quantum leap number 2. Wow. Quantum leap number 1 goes from cats and trees to here, have a baby, have a family, have a husband, have a drug problem, have an alcoholism problem, but have a paid for house and cars. You can have it all. And at the time, like I enjoyed being married. I love relationships. I love being in love. I love having a partner to do things with and grow with. Like, it was fun, but it was a season and a cycle, not a lifetime. And yep. So, anyways, while cutting up that tree with my mother, 15 minutes into the story, cutting up the tree with my mother, and I remember being as excited as I was for this change. I was at such a rock bottom. I didn't know what else to do except listen to my intuition, and everyone was telling me that's the wrong thing to do. And so I just flat out to my mom, I was like, you know what? I just want to die. I don't know what to do. I just want to die. She's like, well, you don't need to want to die. You just need God. And I lost it. I was like, I have this wrong, and you tell me to just find God. What is God going to do? Anyways, that moment has haunted me for many a times, as we can tell by the emotions. I've recorded this video once before, and these emotions did not come out. The realism of the 7 years did not come out. The video was much more straightforward and to the point. So when I say that these videos are a moment of channeling, the morning videos are different too, because the bandwidth of spiritual energy is different and more is available. The veil is thinner. I'm coming off of the nighttime meditation. Nighttime astral exploration and morning meditation. It's These videos are very special and personal, of which now they're not personal because they're out there for anyone with an internet connection and YouTube to log in and watch. I don't even think you need YouTube to watch these. So thank you for receiving. Thank you for being a safe space. I hope I feel like I want to end the video, but it's like, did I even have a point to that story? I mean, at the end, the point of the story is 15 years later, my mother was right. You just need to find God. And it took me 15 years to figure that out. I actually figured it out last year, so not quite 15 years. You just need to find God. Because He's already there. You just have to receive and believe. Faith is the greatest superpower you will ever have. My name's Deb. I like to share the human experience to help others with their human experience. I am going to be attempting to go live on a weeknight basis for the next 7 days, 7 p.m. Only giving it 7 minutes until I give up. 777. We'll see how this goes. And if I miss one, super sorry. This is a really light commitment, but also I want to give it a shot. So have a blessed day, everyone. I don't know where my clicker is. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Have a blessed day.